The lieutenant governor calls for changes in the Texas lottery after scouting out the store that sold a jackpot-winning ticket.
To sell lottery tickets, you have to sell multiple items. They sell board games. So it's just a ruse, in my view, to get around selling lottery tickets.
His visit leads to an ultimatum, raising questions about the future of the lottery in Texas. The Texas House has been the place where plans for school choice died in previous sessions. This year could be different.
He raised his hand and said that he, as Speaker, supports school choice in the state of Texas.
The new legislation in the House has supporters optimistic. Now opponents are fighting back. People waiting for mental health help, dying in jail. Our investigation reveals new data about deaths on the wait list and what one lawmaker says Texas needs to do now.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. $83.5 million. That was the jackpot in last weekend's Lotto Texas drawing. The winning ticket was printed at this storefront in Austin, but purchased remotely by someone using the Jackpocket app. Jackpocket is known as a lottery courier. Players pick numbers on their phones and Jackpocket places the picks for them, later sending a scanned version of the ticket. News of this latest jackpot win and others tied to lottery couriers got the attention of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He told our Capitol reporter Adam Schwager that he believes couriers violate the spirit of Texas law, and he's calling for change.
Let me just say it is a hard line. Couriers have to go.
That's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
The way the lottery was established was to buy cash tickets.
He's taking aim at companies that allow Texans to buy lottery tickets from the comfort of their couch using an app. The Texas Lottery Commission is up for a sunset review, meaning the legislature has to pass a bill extending the agency. If they don't pass anything,
And the lottery will be out of existence in June.
And Patrick says it won't pass unless the lottery makes significant changes and a bill is passed to ban courier services. Some senators agree.
I don't know if there's a will, honestly, in the legislature to reauthorize them if they don't comply with the law.
Jackpocket CEO Peter Sullivan hopes Patrick changes his mind.
This type of playing allows people that may be elderly, may not be able to get to a retail location in time, maybe somewhere rural that doesn't have a retailer next to them.
The application, which was bought by DraftKings last May, sold the winning ticket for Lotto Texas's $83.5 million jackpot this week, the fifth largest win in the game's history.
They are a Texas resident, and they have been a player on the app for nearly 5 years.
The day after, Patrick paid them an impromptu visit to their storefront, Winner's Corner, where they process mobile ticket orders in the back.
I think is in violation of the spirit of the law. To sell lottery tickets, you have to sell multiple items. They sell board games. So it's just a ruse, in my view, to get around selling lottery tickets.
And although they didn't let him take video, in the back, Patrick saw
Our count was somewhere around 30 terminals just running, spitting out tickets.
But Sullivan says it's just how the system is supposed to work.
Retailers are able to get provided additional resources and terminals based on the volume of sales.
Adam joins us now. You also stopped by the Winner's Corner location that the Lieutenant Governor checked out. What did you see there?
Yeah, so when I first went out there, I went out and I saw a building. It was across the street from a strip mall. So at first when I pulled up, I thought, oh, maybe it's in this strip mall. That's where they get their foot traffic, but it's across the street. The windows were completely actually blacked out. You had to physically enter the store to see anything inside, at least that building. So when I started shooting some video of the outside of the building, someone came out of the back of the building and they started talking to me, and they started explaining what their operation was. And behind her, I could see all those terminals that the Lieutenant Governor was referencing that were churning out that material. Of course, I asked if I could go back there and check it out. They politely told me no, and here's a media contact who we then used to reach out and talk to the Jackpocket CEO, as you just saw right there.
Well, certainly a lot to see there, I guess. But, you know, when we talk about the lottery, we hear that it brings in a lot of money for schools and veterans in Texas. You've talked to the lawmakers who want tighter restrictions on the lottery. Are they worried about the effect that all of this could have on funding?
You know, I talked to Senator Bob Hall because he was the first person when I've been talking to this who really floated that idea of dissolving the Lottery Commission to me. And I was like, so what happened to the lottery? He says, it goes away. The way he sees it, he said he's run the numbers. He only sees it as being about 3 out of 365 days of funding the Texas government, and he thinks they can make that up, especially with the surplus they have. But I will say, in 2013, the last time they were up for sunset review, the House initially voted to sunset the Lottery Commission, but then they went in a room, discussed it, decided, hey, this actually might be too big of an impact on our budget, and then re-voted and then let the Lottery Commission continue to operate. So who knows, after they actually take a deeper look at the numbers, as to what that actually is bringing in and how lawmakers feel about that.
And might change their mind again. You've also reported on the future of sports gambling in Texas. Does this increased scrutiny of the lottery affect the potential for sports betting legislation?
Well, you know, it was one of the first stories I worked on here, and when I was talking to the Lieutenant Governor, he mentioned the name DraftKings, the owner of Jackpot, multiple times. And at one point, he did tell me, he said, look, I'm going to paraphrase him a little bit here, obviously, because I don't have the quote right in front of me, but he said, look, if we can't get this system in place to where we can trust our lottery, I don't know if we can take that next step towards sports gambling. And right, notoriously, Lieutenant Governor has been one of the biggest obstacles in order to get that legislation on the Senate floor to even have a vote on sports gambling they haven't been able to take in the past.
So this is your first appearance on State of Texas. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
You're the newest member of our Capitol Bureau, and we just want to welcome you officially and welcome aboard.
It feels great to be here, and I'm glad to be digging into the stories that matter to Texas.
All right, keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sometimes a public school environment just doesn't meet the needs of children.
New legislation in the Texas House would provide billions in new funding for public schools and help parents pay for private school. We look closer at the plan and how opponents are pushing back. People dying in jail waiting for mental health help at a state hospital. Our ongoing investigation reveals the total number of deaths on this wait list and what one senator says Texas should do about it.